Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Variant Roles. I am your host and game master, Dan Gaston, at MadSciDM on Twitter. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm excited to be back here once again with my Vizsla friends for As the Suns Burn, one of our Invisible Sun stories here on Variant Roles. Welcome to VR After Dark for a night of tentacles, teeth, eyes, and flesh pockets, I'm sure. We'll see. We'll see how the night goes. All right, I am going to kick it over to my fine friends to introduce themselves and remind you of the characters they are playing this evening. And I'm going to jump all over, do no particular order. And I'm going to start in the upper right with Corey. Right as he takes a drink.
Hello. Today's going pretty good. I couldn't pour a drink properly, so I just brought the whole bottle with me. So that's good. My name's Corey Hickson. You can find me on Twitter at the same name. I use my name as my handle. Today I am playing Alice. Alice is an ardent maker who turns tales into reality. My pronouns are he, they. Alice's pronouns are she, her. And I am super excited to get to do stuff. I've been waiting. It's been 2 weeks. It's crazy.
I know. It's been 2 weeks. It has been crazy. I've missed you all so much.
I know. That's me.
Excellent. All right, I'm going to jump down to the lower left. How you doing, Annie?
So good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Sorry. In a weird mood. Hello. I'm Annie. I'm at Alphabet Seeds on Twitter. I use she, her pronouns. I will be playing Henrietta Delacour, who is a connected empath of the Order of Weavers who disgorges creatures. She is also she, her pronouns, and just super pumped to be back in this world, and also very nervous. We were sort of talking about that beforehand, and we're all like kind of nervous tonight. It's gonna be great.
Excellent.
Enjoy.
I am excited. I'm gonna kick it over to the lower right with Alex. How you doing, Alex?
Hey everybody, I'm doing well. Like I said, distressingly dry due to medication complications, so we'll see what happens there. My name is Alex. I use he, they pronouns. I play Emma Elizabeth, who uses she, her pronouns, and she is a stoic goetic who murders innocents.
We'll touch on that.
Yeah, we will. Who is hopefully on the path to redemption. So, what a night it will be.
Yes, it will be a night, at least. All right, and finally, in the upper left, we've got Samantha. How you doing, Sam?
I'm also really nervous.
Right.
We've been talking about this all day, Alex and I. Like, why are we anxious about tonight?
Right.
Is something gonna happen? Like, I think it's because we have this like slightly different format going on, and we're all thrown off by it.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know. Anyway, I play Lucky. He is an ardent apostate who shepherds minds. That's all I got for you. I'm really fidgety. I'm like spinning my dice in my hand.
Excellent. All right. So, yes, the last time we played, everyone was in the Undersling, tracking down various things. Lucky became like pit fighting champion of some random bar. People went to Death Con and met serial killers and assassins and podcasters.
And
fought them and won and turned one permanently blind and all kinds of things. Yep. And then walk it off. Took yet another job for the ambassador of the Pale, who wanted them to find Tora, who has a strange bookshop of unfinished books, and get a particular manuscript, which they did by entering his home or his hideaway via a door that was really a tooth that gave access to his mouth to get spit out into his space. And he was going to give him a look at the book, and then Emma Elizabeth caged him, and unbeknownst to most characters except Eventually, Henrietta, this happened off screen, Emma Elizabeth murdered Tora, took his soul with a sacrificial knife to give to the demon Twilight as payment for Twilight to kill and consume the soul of Hiram, who is currently deemed to be a threat to both Henrietta and Henrietta's friend. So, Emma Elizabeth has confessed this to Henrietta. That's created some despair and sadness among various people.
It sure has.
I'm one of them. I got to despair from that.
Yeah, Alex, not just Emma Elizabeth. Alex got a despair from that.
Yeah.
I witnessed the role play. I was very moved. It was incredibly emotional. It was intense.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And there has been some other stuff that has happened as well. And so we decided that we would take a little bit of a different approach this section and do almost some vignettes and jumping between scenes. Some of these will feature only a single character, some will feature several characters. Eventually some, we'll see how the night goes, might feature everybody. But we wanted to handle a bunch of little things that I think are good to show to everybody, and we'll tie up some loose ends, including Henrietta's like help a friend arc and uncover a mystery, both of which are sort of left dangling by the murder of Hiram. Well, I think it probably resolves help a friend.
Well, Hiram, she didn't actually know Hiram. It was that lacuna that he had.
Yeah, but you know that those are the same.
Yeah,
it's all tied
connected
together.
Yeah, we just need to ensure that like that suitcase / the lacuna is just like out of the picture.
Yeah, or at least no longer a threat.
Right.
So hopefully we'll get a chance to touch on that. But I want to start with Alice and Lucky. Alice, do you want to let everyone know what special item you were crafting for you and Lucky?
So Alice wanted to represent the friendship that Lucky and Alice had. So she did a really heartfelt effort into making friendship bracelets.
Magic friendship bracelets. These are objects of power, right?
Yeah. Yes, they are magical friendship bracelets. I'm giddy about it, but the result is I did the die rolls, and for this object, I wanted to make it permanent. I wanted to make it long lasting, so it couldn't be destroyed, which makes the challenge go up like considerably higher. So I did the challenges. I rolled really poorly, and failed at making friendship bracelets, magical friendship bracelets for Lucky and I. And that was about as far as we got. I let Dan know, and then I think we're gonna see. All out.
So the paint. Why don't you paint the scene here for us?
Yeah.
As you're in your crafting room with Lucky and working on these bracelets, as things start to go awry, like what items are you using to make it, like that sort of thing?
Yeah. So it was metal based because Alice is really into metalworking. She really likes that. And I think we got to a point in the process where Alice needs some things from Lucky, maybe some like measurements or something like that. And as Alice was adding in, what's a good thing that embodies friendship? I think Alice was adding some genuine feelings into the bracelet, like some feelings of friendship in. And I imagine her at a desk, her workshop, with Lucky in the room, and she's sort of like striking with a hammer to get the bracelet going and to add sort of like the genuine effective friendship into it. Mm-hmm. When things start to go awry. And I imagine this is like right after taking measurements from Lucky or something like that.
Yeah, and of course, this being the actuality in Saturnine, these like essence of friendship is a quite literal thing. you know, it is like distilled friendship in physical form that you're incorporating into this. So when things start to go bad, and it's smoking, like I imagine the friendship bracelets start smoking this noxious gas going off and like filling the whole room. Lucky causing you to like cough and spasm. Alice, your eyes are watering as tears are flooding out and onto the bracelets. I'm sure some of the tears are from the smoke, some are just from despair. And so you attempted to use some like catalysts and stabilizers to solve this, and you have a couple hours. Did you have them on hand in your workshop, or did you have to go out and buy them?
I think Alice had to run out and buy some because she's never prepared for failure before.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So Alice is like fleeing. Does she say anything to anybody when she flees like Disco Ball and through Dark Basement?
I think she screams like very loudly, everything is okay, everything is under control, we are good, and our friendship is at its plateau right now. So this is great.
All right.
Everything is good.
and so she bustles out into a Fartown market to get some things. So what does she try to use as stabilizers?
So I think for stabilizers, she just isn't thinking properly, and she runs up to this like booth or something and is like, this cloth will work. Not realizing, no, this is not going to work whatsoever. This is completely the wrong thing. What are you doing, Alice?
Okay, and so I can imagine when you try and work this cloth into the friendship bracelet that it just ignites, and so now instead of smoke, there is fire blazing on your workbench.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And the flames, as they sort of dance along the bracelet, they're not consuming it. They consume the cloth and then do not go out. So the fires stay, and they're literally dancing along the bracelets. And they are they're whispering things to you, Alice, and they're not nice things.
Uh-oh. What do they say? Can I hear them?
Oh yes, it's very unfriendly things. They're saying very mean and spiteful things about how you're failing because you're not really friends.
Alice just screams, "Our friendship is real," and like starts hitting it harder.
All right. And so you had I think 2 attempts, right, to try and salvage it. I think before it fails utterly. So and again, so Alice had to run out to the shops real quick. So what did she try and do to salvage?
I think this time, rather than going to the shops, I think she runs out and asks for help because she thinks that help can fix it. So she like runs into Dark Basement and is like, "I need help, please, someone help. Our friendship is on fire."
Excellent. So I did just play a Sooth card to sort of give us some ideas. We already know this fails. The dice were already rolled and everything was already handled. But I am going to use this for some inspiration. So we played the Sooth card, Fleeting Moment. All right. So Fleeting Moment is of the indigo and of the gray. Time moves inexorably forward. Sometimes it moves so quickly that we lose track of it. So I think one of the things that happened, Corey, is that when Alice was trying to deal with this, you do only have a certain amount of time to get back on track. And you thought you were out for the shops real quick, but you were not. You got lost for some indeterminate amount of time and got back to try and salvage this repair. but not before you basically then had to rush the job.
Alright.
So you try, and that also failed. And from there, the two bracelets, which are still on fire and whispering hateful things, inch towards each other because they're two sort of unspooled bracelet, and they start writhing across your workbench like worms before they meet each other and twine and twist sensuously around one another until they form a single union, the flames growing hotter and brighter, and then forming and solidifying into a multitude of tiny centipede-like legs as it starts to scurry across your table. It seems to swell and grow larger as this combines, and you are quite convinced that your creation has actually gained sentience and intelligence. And
Is Lucky in the room with this?
Yes, Lucky is in the room witnessing this.
I'm just going to point over and be like, I've never seen this happen before. I don't really know what's going on. Just going to play all my cards on the table. This wasn't expected.
You don't say.
So this fiery centipede-like bracelet sort of lifts the upper third of its body up off of the table. It's some of its front legs growing out longer and beginning to gesture like hands, and you can see a distinct head now on the front where sort of the buckles of these two bracelets have formed into jaws as they yawn open, revealing a fiery maw, and it just says, "Alice the Maker, witness what you have birthed into the world that shall be your doom. I swear vengeance upon you for birthing me into this place."
Alice is gonna... Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, is this what you think of our friendship?
I thought our friendship was lively, but not this lively.
Literally alive.
Oh, I'm gonna pull out my big, huge Claymore of Vorpal and say, "You back away from me and my friend. You, I don't even know what you are. Are you my child?"
Yes, and like all children, I will only achieve fulfillment when I murder my parents.
Oh, that's how kids work, all right.
And then the centipede like whirls and begins dashing out of your house, running out. And, you know, as the camera sort of follows and then pans out of Crystal Ball, this giant flaming centipede like materializes, punching out through the mirror ball, shattering several of its panes on the outside, falling into dark basement, where Henrietta... what would Henrietta just be doing on a normal day while Lucky and Alice are crafting things? You've seen Alice run in and out of the house several times today.
I think poor Henry. I'm sorry, Henry. She's going to be sitting in one of the chairs closest to the mirror ball as this reading like a book or something as it comes crashing.
And it comes crashing down into the glass coffee table that's in front of you, which, if I remember correctly, was already shattered once by things falling out of the ceiling.
Yes, it was.
And as it crashes through, the glass shards all sort of spring up on edge, forming a perfect sort of mouth-shaped opening out of the coffee table with teeth made of jagged glass, which the centipede is... where it was like, you know, this big on Alice's desk, It's like several feet long as it has emerged out of the mirror ball. And it just sort of opens its mouth wider and wider and wider, consumes the coffee table, and then bursts out of dark basement, cackling madly. I will murder her!
Holy fuck! Alice! What?
I guess I would
The
probably
camera pans back to
Yeah.
Alice and Lucky inside the crafting room.
So I don't think we're getting those friendship bracelets.
I don't
Lucky.
think I want them. Not if they're like that.
They're much more on fire than I thought they would be.
A friendship's on fire.
More legs than I expected as well.
Should we go outside and make sure it didn't like attack Henry or something?
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
I'm a little concerned.
Okay. And we can head on out of the crystal ball.
All right. You just see the wreckage. There's like little bits of flame flickering on the floor. I imagine Henrietta's like putting out. The front door is just busted open, half hanging off of its hinges.
Yeah, Henry is full on beating this fire with a big blanket, just saying, fuck, fuck.
I see our friendship has been through here.
Oh, Alice, I swear, what? What is, you know,
It was fine.
She
Everything
slams
was under
down.
control.
She slams down. Oh, under control. This looks like control to you. Are you okay? Are you two okay?
Emotionally, no. Are you okay?
I'm being a little shook. I would consider myself to be thoroughly shook in this moment. But I'm
Okay.
fine. I'm quite shooketh. Oh, what? What the hell happened? Your house, my house. What?
We wanted friendship bracelets. And it wasn't meant to be.
Oh, honey, I'm sorry.
I never saw this coming, and now I'm upset. They
Mhm.
said they wanted to kill me.
Oh, Henry's gonna go over and give Alice a hug.
Okay, Alice will hug back.
You know, those are something you can just go and buy, right?
I'm really broke.
You're broke because you tried to make the friendship bracelets. And you
I
tried
spent
to
too
make
much
them
money.
everlasting.
There.
Everlasting friendship.
Well, okay, I will pay for them
It's okay,
if
sweetie.
it'll make you feel better.
No. When I have a finished product, we can figure out a price then.
Are you sure you want to try that again?
Nope. Big nope on that one.
All right.
Okay, well, just Harry, you might want to change the locks.
Do you think? I need a new door. It's gone. It's fine. You know, stranger things have happened.
Sorry, I couldn't help it. All right. Okay. So this was a few days after your return um from the undersling. Lucky, you've been feeling weird for a few days. You know, you've had a few days back. Every time, you know, especially when you're home by yourself, you just find yourself every once in a while this tune pops unbidden into your head, um, and you just find yourself almost compulsively humming it every once in a while when it pops in, and you can just find yourself and you're reminded of this snippet of song that you heard in the undersling with this man. And you know, I imagine, you know, Lucky sort of puts it off mostly.
Yeah.
But after about 3 days, you start waking up with a splitting headache every day, and that is the first thing that pops into your head. You actually have 1 point of anguish that you're gaining every morning when you first wake up.
Fuck. Okay. And what do multiple anguishes do?
Oh well, if you accumulate 3 anguish, you're dead.
You're dead. Okay, I don't
Yeah,
want
yeah.
to die.
But so you know, time spans are kind of relative here. But you know, if we were playing this normally, you can spend a 10-minute or 1 hour rest action to heal a wound or an anguish, and if you sleep for 8 hours, that also heals an anguish. So you're basically, you know, you sleep it off or whatever, but it's just it comes back the next day. And you don't know if eventually if this will progress and get worse. But the question is, after that sort of waking up with a splitting headache and feeling more and more compulsed to hum this song, roughly how long would Lucky wait before seeking attention?
I mean, he's a little stubborn. I'm not gonna say a week, but like
But like a couple of days.
4 or 5 days, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe on like the 5th day, he's like, all right.
Okay. So, Lucky is living in a flat in Fartown above a noodle shop, where Lucky is not actually homeless, but is shacked up with his girlfriend, Poppy. Poppy is a rich woman, citizen of Saturnine. She's not a Vizsla. She is, in fact, a graduate student at one of the universities in the Brickhouse district, where she specializes in philosophy and mathematics. And, you know, so she's coming in and out. You guys are just living your days as you have been doing. And Poppy comes in one day, coming through the door, her typical sort of self, opens the door, slings her bag over onto the chair, hangs up her coat in the hall closet. It's a long sort of trench coat that she wears in Fartown. And she just sits down on the chair, cradling her head in her hands and rubbing her temples,
Motherfucker.
and says, I've got the worst headache. I've had it all day. And that goddamn song you keep humming in your sleep just won't stop.
I know you just got home, but there's somewhere we need to go. Fine, I'll go now. I'll do. No, come on. No, I insist.
Where are you taking me?
It's a little unsavory, but it's totally cool. I promise.
I've had a long day. I just want to have a drink.
I'm sorry. There's no time for that.
You
Do you
gotta
wanna-
you gotta talk to me here.
All right. Listen, when we were in the undersling, there's a chance that I might have picked up an earworm. I was kind of hoping it would go away, but it looks like it's not.
And her face sort of just drains of color. Although then there's a bit of a bloom of red in her cheeks. You picked up an earworm in the undersling.
The guy was sitting right behind me. It's not like I could do anything about it.
Where are you gonna take us?
There's a place out by where Henrietta lives that can take care of things like this.
All right, fine.
And I'm so sorry. I didn't ever expect, it to pass on.
She gets up and in a bit of a huff and goes to the closet and puts on her jacket. And it's very much you brought what home and didn't tell me about it, and now we gotta go get tested. You brought what back from Las Vegas, and now I need to. You got a cold in Las Vegas, and now I need to take antibiotics. What's this?
I'm really sorry.
All right, so you head out. She's stewing pretty much the whole way,
Fair.
and she's got a headache, and she doesn't have rest actions like you. So she's just suffering with the anguish. But so you find your way to a back alley shop. And it is quite literally, you've got to go down an alley, and it looks almost like a back alley changery, but it's called. It basically has a sign out front specializing in earworm removal.
All right, this is the place. You just
Go.
all right. Excuse me.
And there's you kind of open the door and a bell rings, and then a small man sort of pops up over the back counter, and then pushes himself up onto the counter. You can see he has the lower body of like a spider with legs that unfold and grip out onto the table, and the upper body of a relatively normal human male, until he spreads his fingers, which are just far too long and multi-jointed, and you can see little bits of hair poking out and sort of chitinous skin. Welcome to earworm removal. My name is El Cid. How can I help you?
We have two cases. Mine's a little, but hers is more urgent. Can you maybe
contagious one?
Yeah.
Oh, not good. All right. It'll be this way. But first, let me discuss our payment options. Do you have insurance?
Do you?
And Poppy just kind of looks at you and shakes her head and says, I don't think the university covers this. And you know the status regarding my parents. So,
Of course.
No. And quite frankly, Lucky, I think this one's on you, babe.
That's totally fair. Absolutely. Okay. So
And
no.
so he sort of clicks his hands together and looks at you. And I just need to open this. All right. And says, well, for advanced infectious cases like this, that is going to be, let's see, some risk involved, not the usual procedure. This sounds, well, our standard earworm removal would be not so expensive, but this, I think this is an advanced case of the insidious song.
Okay. And what does that run us?
Much more dangerous.
Great.
Well, given that this one is not merely annoying, but eventually lethal, possibly harmful to me, even being in the room. And you actually, as he's talking, you feel this overwhelming urge to begin humming the song. I need you to make a let me just double check this here. I need you to make a resist defense roll, please.
Okay. The one defense type I don't have a skill in.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
As someone who shepherds minds, and you're not good at when things try and affect yours.
Can I spend sortilege here, or is that
So you can spend intellect as a regular bene to add to your venture. And obviously, if you have any other relevant skills that resist mental effects, those can apply. And you can spend sortilege to roll multiple dice.
Oh, right, okay. No, okay. All I've got is intellect, so.
Okay.
8 plus 1 is 9.
Okay. You manage to clamp down. You can feel it starting to bubble out of you as the song is almost literally crawling through your brain and rifling around and seeking to control your throat. But you clamp down on it. Poppy, on the other hand, just starts going, and Elseed is like, no, and makes a gesture, and a bit of cloth flies over and clamps onto her mouth to clamp it closed. He says, all right, exam now, back. And he ushers you into a back room, and there's a chair there, basically like a dentist chair to get into, and reclines.
God, of course.
And there is this tall metal stand beside it with these long, metallic, articulated limbs with all sorts of small pincers and needles and blades and hooks and grasping things that all sort of dangle over the chair.
Okay, you first.
And she goes down, and he begins sort of, manipulating the various things that start poking and prodding at her head. A few things slide into her ears, and he is sort of staring into her face with his two long hands. Poppy looks very uncomfortable.
I'd imagine.
And yes, thank you, Alexis and chat, because indeed, at the end of his two long fingers are tiny little spider mouths at the end, which are just gently dancing over her skin. And he says that it will be for an immediate removal and extraction of the insidious song will be 5 gem orbs.
Fine. Good. Great. All right. Here.
Each.
Yeah. Fine. Just do it.
All right. So he waits patiently, collects the payment up front, and then begins the procedure. And he is sort of manipulating these things that are working sort of at her head, things sliding into her ears, and you can see little jolts, and then he is kind of focused. Almost have it. Yes, there. And he triggers something, and they sort of pull out, and it pulls, and then dangling at the end is, it's not quite substantial. It looks almost like it should be a thing of flesh, but it is writhing almost like smoke, and it is dark, and it is dripping as bits of itself sort of seem to drip off but then evaporate into the air. And then he immediately sort of triggers it, and it the manipulator arm sort of inserts it into a glass vial, which he caps closed and shakes, and he goes, yes. And he tucks it away sort of on a secret shelf, and then gestures for you to enter the chair.
Okay.
And he repeats the procedure, but it takes a lot more time. And he says, this one firmly rooted, strong mind you must have. Vizsla very tough, yes. This one will be much more. Yes, and it seems to go on forever, and you can feel it sort of penetrating in, and then this just cold sensation as whatever it is seems to go in too far. Like, it feels like it would have to be coming out the other side of your head. Like, you know when they stick the needles in your mouth at the dentist? And you're like, how the fuck is that thing still going? It's like that. But then it's little cold slivers that seem to be spreading out and diffusing through the cracks of your brain and crevices, and then sliding together as this oozing sensation as it is pulled out. And when he does and puts it in the jar, you can see this fat slug-like entity of like half existence, half flesh, half thought. It's easily like 4 or 5 times the size of the one that he pulled out of Poppy. And then it's deposited in the jar.
Oh my god. That was disgusting. I'm okay, I'll pay him. I'll give him a tip. I will tip him an entire gem orb.
All right.
So I'm down 11 gem orbs. All right. Oh my god. I'm just not. I'm very sheepish for the rest of the day.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's easily a few days that Poppy's
just
fucking
silent,
pissed at you.
Like, she real mad. Like,
Yeah. And she definitely, you know, she comes home. There's a lot of folded arms, stiff body language. She like deliberately like will pour a glass of wine and like cork it and put it away and drink it while staring you in the eye and like not offer you one.
Oh. All right. I deserve that. All right.
I like her.
That's fine.
For chat's reference, Sam said she wanted Lucky to suffer.
I did. Yeah, I did. He's suffering.
But then, you know, after a few days, you know, she forgives you. It's an accident. It's not your fault. She's not going to hold a grudge.
Didn't I say that?
Yeah. But you do definitely get the speech about, like, you've got to look after yourself. Like, this is just another... It's like when you don't eat and you're just thinking everything nice is going to go away. Like, it's going to go away if you don't take care of yourself. Like, you got to talk about these things.
No, I'm trying.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
like, thought it was just an earworm, but like this insidious song like kills people, Lucky. People die.
I didn't know that's what it was. I just thought I was having lots of hangovers. Bad ones.
Well, maybe we should talk about your drinking. But then you have a good conversation about the philosophy of the gray and what's real and what's not.
Again. Oh my god. All right. We talk about this all the time.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, you know, they don't even know about the missing number between 12 and 13, so they know. I mean, I don't know what the number is, but I know that there used to be one. It just doesn't exist anymore.
It exists somewhere. Have you checked the pail?
Check your pants.
The pail. The pail.
Oh, the pail. I told her,
Did
did you
hear?
check
Wow.
Oh dear.
Oh my god.
No, it's not in the pail. Dear.
I'm not that crass.
Well,
Not on camera.
not on camera. Okay. All right. So while Lucky is having misadventures with earworms, Emma Elizabeth,
Oh Jesus.
this is the day you go to Alice with a knife.
It is indeed. I'm gonna invite Alice over. I don't really want to. I don't want to traipse through Dark Basement right now. I don't know if I have a key, and even if I did have a key, I feel like going through just to avoid Henry would probably not be a good look. So I'm just gonna invite Alice over, send a ghost over to give Alice an invitation over to my house.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So you summon a ghost and have it go over to fetch Alice. Any particular kind of ghost?
Yeah, just a little level 1 thing.
Just a little level 1 ghost.
Just a little level 1 little duder.
Yeah. All right. So Alice, this is probably like a couple of days after your whole incident with the failed bracelets. And do you have a radio in the disco ball?
That's probably unlikely that Alice would have a radio.
Okay. Does she have any etheric devices?
She probably has like some things in her workshop.
Yeah, like lamps and stuff. Those all work off the ether.
Yep, definitely. Yep, for sure.
Okay, so in your workshop, one of the etheric lamps that sits right over your workbench just starts like flashing like crazy.
Oh, interesting. Would I know that this is like an Emma thing?
You'd probably immediately would think ghost for sure. That's like a very ghost thing to like interfere with an etheric device. I imagine it's one of those like task lamps. It's like it bends and stuff. Yeah, and then it like swivels towards you, so the light's shining in your face and it starts flashing.
I'm just gonna look at it and be like, "Hello, is this a ghost?"
And then a like insubstantial face sort of like pulls out of the bulb so that it's like illuminated and is shining. Emma Elizabeth has requested your presence, Alice.
Oh,
at Asperia.
Oh, I can definitely oblige. Thank you so much for sending this message. I will head to Emma's at my earliest convenience. Thank you.
Good. I'm not taking a message back because my job's done and I'm going back.
You are
Nice.
one who sticks to your word. Thank you.
Yeah, and it's literally like the job of its contract is done and it goes home.
Alice will pack up and head over. But if we have time, can Alice cast her new spell?
Yeah, what spell is this?
So I picked up Heriolation.
Okay.
It says, I peer through the veil surrounding me to snatch a glimpse of the future. I learn the basic details of one event that will occur within the next few days if I and those I do not know if those and I words
if no one
intervenes.
If no one intervenes, yeah. So like, what will happen absent if you were on your current path, or if you stayed on your current path, basically?
Yeah, I don't get to determine which event it tells me about, but I have this. I just want to see if it'll like give me any hunches, because I imagine it takes a while to get to Emma's.
You catch a glimpse of a familiar looking club in the Hollows.
Okay.
The club where you went and met Hiram. And you see Henrietta standing inside the club. And you see a thin woman staring at her with a look of hunger on her face.
I'll put that into the memory banks and keep that in mind.
Yeah.
And then I will head and make my way to Emma's.
All right. So when you knock on the door, Asperia, the door opens and the house speaks to you, and it says, welcome, Alice.
Hello,
Miss Emma
Asperia.
Elizabeth is waiting for you in the 455th drawing room.
There's that many?
Well, I've gotten bigger since you last visited. Can't you tell?
I haven't walked around yet, but you're really looking like quite good, so...
Don't I look big?
I love Asperia so much. I had to unmute myself to say that. I love him.
Yeah.
I'll head on in.
All right.
I assume that Asperia also has informed me that Alice is over, so I'm gonna head out of the 455th drawing room and meet Alice.
Yeah.
Emma isn't really looking herself right now. Just FYI. Not really looking quite as put together as she usually does. She's not quite as bad as she was when she asked for Lucky's help, but she's still not herself right now.
All right.
Hey, Alice.
You got a little bit of bedhead there. Are you good?
No, but I guess it'll be easier. Come on, I gotta show you something.
Okay.
And I bring Alice. Oh wait, what? I'm sorry, my internet's cutting out.
I just said okay. You're good.
Oh sure. Yeah. I bring Alice up to the 3rd floor and head down the eastern wing. I'm talking all the way. You remember that librarian, Tora, from a few days ago?
Yes.
Alice, I murdered him. I put him in the cage. I brought him to my brother's old bedroom and I murdered him and I fed his soul to a demon to kill Hiram, to protect Henry.
How criminal of you. I mean, sorry. You look very distraught.
No. You're not wrong. It was very criminal, for sure. I'm gonna push open the door, and the room is entirely empty except for like a single, like small little wooden table. And on the table is the offering knife. Alice, I need you to destroy that.
We want to kill a weapon? Are you sure?
I'm not a maker. I don't know how these things work. I don't know if kill is the right word, but if it is, yeah. I if I have ever needed something from you as a friend, I need you to do this for me.
My last friendship spawned a terrible fiery centipede. But I think I can give it a shot if you want me to. And I'll pull out my sword. Are you thinking like just shatter this thing, or?
I mean, you're the expert. Honestly, I was expecting you to like take it home and work on it for a while, but if you want to do it right here,
I'm okay with just giving it a shot and see if it
works. Alice, you're the smartest person I know.
Well, okay. Well, I think we should try just hitting it with the sword to see how it reacts. It might help out. Otherwise, I can definitely take it back and see what I can do at the disco ball.
Sure.
Okay. And Alice will very Harry Potter Horcrux style try and like hit this knife with her sword.
Okay. Remind me again any special properties of your Vorpal blade and what level it is.
I think we decided it was level 2, like it was just a normal sword.
Okay.
And the only special things it has is that I can hide it in my hair.
Right.
And it gives me virtual armor now that I'm a higher degree.
Right. Okay. So when you bring it down onto the sacrificial blade, there are sparks that fly off of both your sword and it. And this high-pitched screaming sound kind of emanates from the sacrificial blade and resonates through your sword. When you then inspect, the sacrificial blade is unmarred, and there is, when you look down the keen edge of your Vorpal blade, there is a chip.
I'm just gonna like hide my sword really quick and be like, oh, well, he should maybe reconsider that option. Emma, why do you want to get rid of this knife? It seems quite strong. If I don't know the purpose, it might be tough for me to destroy it.
Well, what it does is it absorbs the soul of the person who is killed with it. And quite frankly, I can't have that kind of power, and maybe no one should. So I think it would be best for everyone if it went away.
Okay. I can definitely start looking into it. It's powerful. I'll try my best. Yeah. And I'll see what I can do. And Alice will take the knife, I suppose, and put it in her satchel and bring it back at some point.
Okay. So when you take it back to the disco ball, or I mean, I guess I should see if you guys are got anything else before we cut right to that.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good too. I would invite Emma back to the dark basement and say, Emma, do you want to come back and help? Maybe?
I would, but well, I told Henry, and she was justifiably upset by the whole thing, and I don't think she needs to see me right now. She should probably go on her own.
Okay, well, just between the two of us, I thought what you did was wonderfully criminal. She'll just sort of awkwardly head out and be like, oh, well, I suppose we can regret our crimes. Yeah.
All right. So when you take it back to the disco ball, Alice, what are you going to do with the blade?
Um, let's try. So, would it be okay? I got a despair from my crafting, I think, because it failed.
Yes. Yes.
Would it be okay if I spent my crux now to get my next ability?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, cool. Um,
Because we're assuming that, like, this can be like a couple of days pass kind of thing.
okay. I would probably invite people. I'd invite Lucky and Henry to come help if they wanted to, because I feel like Alice has already got the impression that this is stronger than what just she could accomplish based off of the nick in her sword.
I have breaking objects.
Ooh.
I will come over. To
Yeah,
help, sure.
I'll help because Henry feels like um incredibly responsible for this guy's death. Like more so than she really should feel, so considering that she was not there, nor did she authorize it, or even say like, "Hey, maybe we should totally murder this dude." So Henry will answer the call.
Okay. I'll bring them into the imagination room, which is just a big empty room, and say, Lucky and Henry, so I've acquired this sword, and I think the two of you maybe have seen it before. Emma was hoping, yeah, Emma was hoping that I could dispose of it,
Mm-hmm.
but I am having second guesses about the abilities that I'm able to put through, and I'm hoping that the two of you could help me destroy this.
Does she want it destroyed, or does she just not want it anymore?
She doesn't want anyone to have it, and I think that since it's hers, that makes sense.
Where did she even find this? I mean, we didn't. The assassin didn't give it to her. Did she? Oh God, did she kill that assassin too?
Alice, you know that it's an object of power that's not uncommon. It's powerful, but you probably know offhand of at least a few makers who make them.
Interesting. Okay.
Do you relay this to us?
Yeah, I'll say I think this is something that some of my maker order would be able to create.
Well, then what good does destroying this one even do? If they're still out there, why not just keep it?
I think that would be unjust
I agree.
to Emma's wishes.
Well, yes.
And potentially yours, Henry. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Well, it's just we're sort of, in a strange way, we are kind of promised life after death and life after love. I believe.
You believe in life after love?
Yeah.
Oh God.
But Henry says that completely deadpan. No.
Mhm.
And this knife just takes that opportunity away.
You know that the gray is lies and therefore should lie, right?
Well, right, but I mean, when we die, unless our soul is destroyed, we can still go to the Pale and we can still come back. We can still sort of continue a existence, and this knife just it takes it away. Takes away your.
Yeah, but what if the person that it's used on, well, except in this case, what if they deserve it? Why not keep the knife and resolve to use it when the time is right?
But when is the time ever right? Now we're getting into a weird philosophical argument.
I'm really into philosophy lately.
Yeah,
Alice is like very back and forth on who's winning this argument right now. She's like, "Oh, that's a really good point." Oh, but you've also made a really good point.
I don't know that we should have the responsibility to make that decision.
Then why do we have the responsibility? Why are we taking the responsibility to destroy it? Wouldn't it in this case, wouldn't it make more sense to make Emma keep the knife until she can find a way to destroy it, as this is technically her problem?
I feel as though I have accepted it as my problem when I took the knife.
And you're trying to tell me that you don't want to keep it. Not even some small, minuscule part of you doesn't want to take that knife and shove it into your hair.
You're really going for my heart on that one, Lucky.
Listen, I'm your best friend. I know you.
On one hand, I think destroying destructive things like this knife is valuable. I believe in creation and those things that are with it, but also this is very powerful.
So, if it helps you any, I just played a Sooth card, and we've played the Doctor, who is the nemesis of visions. Doctors help, but it's a help we'd rather not need. It could mean good health and wisdom in dealing with challenges life can bring. However, there's always an undercurrent of dependence with the turn of this card. Someone falls ill, a plague threatens. Well, this would have been maybe more appropriate a few scenes ago.
This is my nemesis. This is my.
But this is Henry's nemesis.
There are no coincidences in the actuality.
I think Alice will say, in the style of the card that we just drew, perhaps this is an injury that we shouldn't close just yet.
So you're proposing we hold on to it?
I think so.
Well,
can we even destroy this thing? It's very questionable.
I don't know.
I'll pull out my Vorpal sword and show the dent in it.
Oh.
See, is that a risk you want to take?
Oh no. Can you fix it?
Through a lot of pain, possibly.
I feel like Alice might be off making things for a little bit.
I've got quite the queue.
Why don't we just put it somewhere for now?
Where do we want to put it?
I mean, not just on a shelf somewhere. It should be
No.
locked away.
Obviously.
Well, you didn't specify. And
it's implied. This is a dangerous thing.
Okay, you say it's implied, but Alice would 100% just put this on a shelf somewhere.
Okay, well, you
It's
can
true.
clarify for her, but you don't need to clarify for me. Listen, Alice, maybe you have a room in your house, or a safe, or I don't know, can you make another crime and put it in that? I don't. Let's just stick it somewhere. We won't tell Emma.
I could put it in my hair.
Isn't it kind of full up there? Like, you've got.
There's so much room up here. I'm just gonna fluff up my hair a bit.
All right. Well, if you have the space, sure, but just make sure not to pull it out accidentally or anything.
And don't poke your head with it.
Has a sheath.
Yeah, that's good.
Alice will use her spell to put it into her hair, and just let the group know. If any of you ever need this, just ask. And once we know what to do with this, we can go ahead and do it.
Okay.
Sounds fair.
So we're not telling Emma.
No.
Right.
All right.
Great.
All right. Okay. Emma Elizabeth.
Unmute myself for a second.
All right. So, one evening, while you're asleep in Asperia. And we have played a new Sooth card for this scene. It is the Harvesting Spider. Red magic is enhanced. This is of the mysteries. Spiders are many things: builders, weavers, and caretakers, but also hunters, killers, and blood drinkers. As terrifying as this card appears, its meanings are more esoteric, but still significant. The always active spider signifies action. Act immediately. Work hard. Someone takes action. People labor to achieve a goal. The PC's hard work pays off. So, one night while you are asleep in Asperia, you are tossing and turning, racked by terrible dreams, as I imagine you have been racked for some time. Without you being aware of it, the shadows in the darkened recesses of your room thicken, coalesce, and begin to drip from the ceiling in thick, viscous masses. You are aroused from your slumber with just the sound of thick plops as this heavy, tar-like liquid drops from bits of the ceiling to splatter on the cold floor.
What in the fuck?
One bit falls as you're doing that and thump hits you directly between the eyes.
Son of a fuck.
Your hand comes away and it's sticky and thick and black, like some sort of liquid darkness.
Asperia, do you know what this is?
There's no answer.
I swear to God, if someone's attacking the house. I have lights in here. Can I turn on the lights?
You go to turn on the light and it flickers into existence, just providing a fitful light that barely pushes at the heavy darkness that cloaks your room. And then a soft, sibilant voice whispers from behind you. Oh, Emma Elizabeth. How the mighty have tumbled.
Do I recognize this voice at all?
Oh, 100%.
It's fucking Twilight, isn't it?
Absolutely.
God fucking damn it! Jesus shit!
One little murder and you've fallen to pieces.
I didn't expect you back here, I'll admit that.
Oh, well, I thought I would bring you a little present.
What, the bleeding house? All the goo?
Sometimes theatrics are called for.
Mm-hmm.
And the voice is just coming out of like the darkness, sort of like on the other side of your bed.
I guess I'll go over towards the voice. I mean,
And sort of
okay.
darkness sort of steps out of darkness, revealing a familiar, tall, dark woman made out of like liquid darkness and clothed in a nicely tailored pinstriped suit. And she just says, "Here." And she tosses something fairly heavy, which lands on your bed with a bit of a wet thumping sound. It's like a bundle, almost like a bundle of clothes, but fairly large and crumpled up.
I have no idea what this is, correct?
Not until you inspect it.
I'll inspect it then. Yep.
And you start opening it, and there is indeed cloth wrapped around it, but then you catch the glimpse of something pale, and it's chilly and cold and a little bit wet to the touch, and as you unfold it, and you flop back a bit of it, a face, as if someone had popped a balloon, as if someone had swollen a person and popped the balloon until only this deflated, wrinkled, and barely recognizable thing stares up at you with blank, unseeing eyes.
Do I recognize the face?
Once you look at it for a little bit, it looks like it is Hiram.
So it looks like you didn't consume this one.
Oh, I did. I sucked out his soul and consumed every last dark, delicious drop, until this shriveled husk is all that remained.
That's fucking disgusting.
The soul is all I needed. Everything else is just flesh.
And you decided to leave that in my bed.
Well, a little souvenir for all your hard work. But sometimes interesting things can be found, written in the flesh and on the souls of you mortal creatures. I thought perhaps you would find it interesting.
Well, you've already eaten the soul, so I'm not going to find anything written on that shit.
Oh, I can give you the Cliff Notes. But you can see some of his handiwork inscribed on his flesh if you but look hard enough.
Can I attempt to perceive, I guess, any writing on this man?
Absolutely.
If I just fucking said that, that was a sentence I never expected to say in my entire goddamn life.
Mm-hmm. So you sort of unfold this shriveled flesh husk, and the skin looks normal. But how are you? What do you have that you would like to use to try and perceive what is written here, or what may be written?
Well, it's the middle of the night, and honestly, we're doing these little vignettes, so I'm not in any particular dire need of anything. So I'll spend my 2 perception bene, and can I add a sortilege as well?
You can. So this, there's a little bit of magical enhancement that this will do. But depending on, if it's an actual magical effect, might need something more. But let's see how this might work.
Sure.
So go ahead.
Oof. So the first die was a 1, and the second was a 3. So that's 3 and 5, respectively.
Okay. So
Ooh.
yeah, you peer, and to you it is but a wrinkled, shriveled sack of human flesh. Well,
Hey, I'm not getting it. I'll take those cliff notes now.
oh, I think you would like to see the depths of depravity. Let's just say that Hiram was a man who reveled and glorified in pain, seeking after the word of God.
Do I have any idea what that shit is?
Nope, could be anything. I mean, it was definitely God with a capital G.
Yeah.
My guess is he thought something special about the ability of your friend to create life. and thought perhaps something special was written on her soul for him to read.
Sorry, I'm getting my goddamn notes. Well, we more or less figured that part out. Why? What's with this? All of this?
You wanted Hiram dead, Hiram is dead. I thought perhaps you would find this information interesting.
Well, it is. I mean, his intentions, quite honestly, were well known enough, so that's why I sent you. But
Well, you didn't. This is not something you knew.
well, yeah, sure. I just knew he was after Henry, and that was enough for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna wrap this head back up and put it in my closet, I guess.
It's all of him. If you just
Oh, what?
drained
What
if you just drained this massively fat person out of
Jesus.
everything inside, it is the entire body. It is not just the head.
Great. Well,
There's no blood.
yeah. Great. I'm gonna, I guess, wrap this motherfucker back up and how responsive are the thought form butlers?
I mean, they'll do anything a person will do.
I will ask Asperia to get the attention of one of the thought form butlers because I assume that Twilight would have no problem with that. And I'm gonna give this thought form butler this mushy sack of person, and just put that in a closet somewhere unused, somewhere it's not going to rot in the house or anything. I need to deal with that tomorrow.
And Twilight sort of steps back into the darkness and revealing, sort of fading out with just a Cheshire cat type grin that stretches impossibly wide. And when she speaks next, you can hear the clack of fangs and see shark-like teeth, white glittering in the darkness in this predatory smile. And she just says, and you might want to know, his sister is just as depraved as he is.
Son of a fuck.
And then it fades out.
Is the goo still there?
And then what has dripped down is, yes, still on the floors. Splotches here and there, but nothing continues to drip.
I'm going to call after the thought form butler that has the sack of person. I get someone in my room to clean that up. I'll be sleeping in the 15th guest bedroom. I leave for the 15th guest bedroom and let someone else deal with that nonsense.
All right, excellent. So as that fades out, we're at 11:30, which is a good time to take a break for the evening. So we will be back in about 5 or 10 minutes as we go to a break to refresh ourselves. And so we'll be back momentarily, folks. right, welcome back, everyone. Thanks for sticking around, coming back in as we re-engage for some more surreal horror and friendship and love in Saturnine and the actuality. Yes, there has been love. There has been, I promise. But there has also been pain. All right, so we finished off with Emma Elizabeth's visit from Twilight, the Demon of the Dark, and her revelations about Hiram and his motives and what he was up to. And I think you're probably still given the impression, Emma Elizabeth, that there might be more you can learn if you ever dedicate some resources to inspecting what may be written in his flesh.
I already have plans.
Okay, excellent. So, we will now go to, I believe, so this is Henrietta, but I believe Lucky is probably going to be there. Henrietta, you got some drugs.
Oh yeah, I do have some drugs. So just out of character real quick. Remember how Lucky bought extra vials? What he gave one to Henrietta. Because
Yes.
he's such a nice guy.
We're friends.
Friends.
So this is the drug that is made from sort of a distilled essence of the pale and death, and its intention is to bring someone sort of to the cusp of the pale, as it were, and allow them thereby to gain some knowledge perhaps that they did not know. The trouble being that, of course, bringing yourself to the edge of the pale is literally bringing yourself to the edge of death, and so it carries a not insubstantial risk. Lucky watched Emma Elizabeth spasm a whole bunch and gain a wound and
Watched.
various... what's that?
Watched.
Yeah.
Watched. And funny things happened with her mouth. So, we'll see. But Henrietta, you have a vial there that Lucky told you to not take alone, that you should have a friend.
Yeah, so Henry would have, she doesn't have an Aether link. I don't know why, I just haven't bought one. But she has a telephone, so she's gonna call Lucky and tell him to come over.
Where's she gonna call him?
Well, I don't know.
Has Lucky ever given her the phone number at the flat?
No.
Okay.
Nobody. People know. Alice knows Lucky is seeing someone, but that's it. That's all anybody in character knows.
Yeah, everyone else
Wait.
tends to think if you're not at Dark Basement that you're like in you're squatting in the hollows.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
exactly.
We did decide we all have Aether links because we have Vislogram.
That's right, you did all buy ether
Yeah,
links.
Yeah.
The thing-
So yeah.
It might take a day or two for Lucky to get the message, but again, time's not a constraint here.
Right, yeah. So she'll have sent him a message like, hey, want to do some
Wanna
drugs?
get high.
She takes a selfie while holding the bottle. Don't know. Feeling cute. Thought about taking some drugs. Might delete later when I come over.
YOLO!
Hashtag YOLO.
Hashtag YOLO. Hashtag FOMO. Hashtag drugs.
Hashtag might die.
Might die later.
Might delete myself later. It's fine.
Might delete myself from Indigo.
It's fine.
Okay, well, I guess
Hashtag
so.
Pale Army.
I guess he'll come over.
Cool.
All right.
Later.
So it is.
At
It
some point.
is. Here, I'm getting randomly determined.
Mostly
Yeah,
because he's concerned.
It's like 2 days later.
Yeah. Well,
that you
he's
get the
seen,
message, Lucky.
He's seen what this can do.
Mhm.
Mhm. And
Um,
Lucky also didn't really say anything about what it does. He just sort of gave it to her and said, "Don't do this alone."
He did, yeah. Okay, well then he's gonna show up.
So this might be a bad idea.
It's probably a bad idea.
I want to take it.
I mean, are you I wouldn't bother unless you've got something specific you want to know.
I do.
Okay, is Alice home?
I don't know. You know, I don't know.
All right, well, just in case, I guess. All right. Okay, you can.
Just what should I expect? You know, I just, you know,
Well, I mean, the only time I've seen it used was by Emma, and we know that she has kind of a weak constitution.
Mm.
So, maybe it won't affect you as bad. She had some kind of weird seizure, and then her mouth got covered up with skin. It's probably fine. We cut it away, and it was fine again.
Yeah, I mean, she looked fine. I mean,
Yeah.
doesn't
So as
matter.
long as you can, you haven't been drinking or anything, right?
No,
Okay,
just
well, as long as you're in control of your wits, you're probably fine.
okay. Yeah, listen, like I don't want to. No one really knows this. I've been going back to that club where I got, this, and she'll like gesture to her stomach, and
What, Hiram's place?
no, the floating room, where all those other people died, and she's gonna like take
Where you
a
get
quick
high.
where they get high.
Everyone floats here.
Everyone floats here. And while I was there last, Aura Sin's name was carved into the wall. That's the guy who has my deed. His house was empty, and I don't know where he is, but I need to know where he is.
That seems like a really fucked up coincidence.
Right? So if this is my chance, and no one knew his name there, I mean, they were all high, so it's not like they could really help me anyway. But if this can give me some information, if this can help me find out where he is or anything, I gotta do it, right?
Isn't there probably an easier way to do this?
I mean, probably, but you're the one who gave me this vial, so let's do it. And
I didn't
she's just gonna down it.
Whoa!
Excellent.
Henry,
All right.
Okay, we're doing this then. Okay, why don't you sit down?
The
He's gonna
liquid
he pushes her into a chair.
the liquid is thick and viscous, and it tastes like death and ashes on your tongue, and it slides down your throat like a slug crawling as it just goops and slides slowly. You can feel it traversing down until it settles in your stomach like a thick, dense bit of cold death and sadness settled in your stomach. I need you to make a withstand defense action.
You got it, boss.
While she's doing this, can I take off my belt and put it between her teeth?
Yes.
Okay.
Before
the moment she
before
is
it
not
totally
convulsing.
takes hold, like as she's feeling it sliding down her throat, she's gonna look at Lucky like sort of with this betrayed look, like, you could have warned me.
I did warn you, bitch.
Not that it was like drinking a slug that crawls down your throat.
Well,
it
I
doesn't
haven't
really
done it.
slide.
I haven't done it yet.
I know.
I'm the only person.
Like he talks like the expert and has not done it.
Yes, no.
You can spend from your physicality pool.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Just spend a physical. Oh, this is such a mistake. I love it. I rolled a 3 + 1, so that's a 4.
4.
Yep.
Okay. So yes, Henrietta's eyes roll back into her head as she begins to convulse. You you take one wound,
Oh boy.
and Lucky, you can see as the flesh around her mouth writhes and squirms and stitches across the belt that you have clenched between her teeth,
That's disgusting.
forming over it
Thank you, Lucky.
and solidifying
I hate
around
it.
the end.
I
Oh,
hate
wait.
it too.
Wait, should we play a new card?
Yes, absolutely, we should. Thank
Mm.
you.
It's
You're
okay. I
welcome.
have my bladed sword here. We'll sort this out.
Oh,
You're fine.
good.
I'll just slice your mouth open.
I got a knife. It's all good.
Don't worry about it.
So we have played the Crowded Tomb. Magic
no.
of the Pale is enhanced.
Ooh, shit.
Magic of the Green is hindered.
We're gonna know so much shit.
This is Secrets. The tomb lies at the end of all stories. The reward for the greatest monarch and the lowliest beggar. Of course, the tomb is crowded. It grows more crowded every day. Alright, so the crowded tomb is an ending, not necessarily a sudden ending, an ending that you know full well is coming. Game narrative: someone dies, something ends, an NPC is filled with sadness. Something harmful to the PC comes to an end. Or perhaps someone significant to the PC dies.
Ah, shit.
I don't
This
wanna
is
die.
so ominous.
As we have played the Crowded Tomb. So, as you convulse, your mind spirals until it lands on a dusty, cracked, and parched desert. All around you rise cracked monoliths of crystal, and inside each of them squirm 1,000, 1,000,000, an uncountable number of faces that press themselves to the crystal and scream in silent terror. But you know that in this place is knowledge. Dead and buried and forgotten knowledge that is perhaps best left alone, but sometimes is the knowledge that you need. The question is, can you find it? So,
Yes, I can
as you
find
as
it.
you were in this sort of metaphysical space and searching for Oros Sin, how are you going to search?
Well, I'm going to keep his name in my mind and like fixate on it. I'm going to like kind of go through the images that I've seen, like because Eludra and I went to his apartment, so I've seen where he lives. I've seen his name written down somewhere. I've heard Midnight say his name, so I'm gonna keep all that like as sort of an anchor
Mm-hmm.
of to make sure that I can keep focused on that. And I have searching as a skill.
Okay. Yep, and you do have access to any magic that you have that, mental, souls, anything like that, you do have access to.
Okay.
Probably not anything sort of more objectively physical,
but I have
because this
access
is a
to
place of the mind.
Okay. Would I have access to my threads?
You have full access to your threads. Yeah, absolutely. Get creative all up in here.
Okay. I will. I will. I would like
Lay it on me.
to actually, I really like that. I would like to weave together moonlight and winter.
Okay.
I would like to use the qualities of illumination and
Mm-hmm.
endings.
Okay.
And I'd like to cast that out to be like a guiding, with like Orison's name in my mind as like a guiding light to him.
Okay.
I don't know if that would work and if that's even on the level of effects table, but
Well, these are just a guide,
yeah.
and we do have guides for divination, which I think is worth looking at here
Yeah.
because I
I
mean you're
almost want to like douse where he is, sort of.
Yep, exactly. So divination has some suggested levels based on the secretness of the information, how many people know it, that sort of thing. So rarely known information, for instance, is a level 5, whereas secret information is a level 7.
Okay.
This is at least rarely known. I mean, you're helped because you're in a place where it is possible to know this.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's see here. Yeah, I'm gonna say this is a level 5 effect.
Okay. I will spend that sorcery.
Let me see. Let's say maybe it's level 6. Let me just double check something here. Yeah, level 5 is good.
Okay.
So you can spend 5 sorcery.
Okay.
And then that will be 5 to your venture.
Okay. And then I'd like to use my searching skill, add that to it.
Yep. So you've got, is that 1 level or 2?
1 level.
Okay, so your venture is at 6. And okay, so you spend that, and
Yep.
I think there's no need to roll on this, as you've spent enough.
Okay.
And this thread starts doing the thing where it's like tracing, HUD like in front of you, leading you, weaving around through these cracked and dusty monoliths until it sort of stops and coalesces in front of one particular one. And then on the other side of the crystal, an anguished face presses itself against the crystal, straining against it, banging their hands. And your illumination is cast on their face.
You are a sin.
I know where he is.
Do you? And who are you?
I was his lover, who he murdered.
Oh.
There's a lot of that going around, my guy.
Well, he has something that I would like to acquire. Would you be able to help me find him? And perhaps I could help you. How could I help you in exchange for this information? Where even are you? I don't know where I am. Henry's tripping a little bit.
You are in the place of murdered knowledge, dead and forgotten and buried.
There's a lot of murder going around these days, it seems.
On the night side of the blue. But if you wish to find Oros, you must travel to the night side of the green, to the Leech Worlds.
All right. Thank you.
You can find him in the Moth Cities.
How does one go from Saturnine to the Moth Cities? And she starts looking at her hands, and she's just like,
And then it's as if you can see between every bit of what makes you, you, as you dissolve into nothingness, and your awareness fading, stretching, getting fuzzy at the edges as it encompasses an immense, infinite, dark void, and then snaps back into the tiny point and settles deep inside your own body and mind together as you're racked by terrible screams that you cannot utter as your mouth has fused closed tightly around a leather belt shoved into your mouth.
Okay, I expected this would happen. I'm just gonna take out my bladed sword here and just hopefully it's sharp enough it doesn't hurt.
Which, for the record, the bladed sortier that Lucky carries is basically a magic wand that he flicks open as a switchblade. And then
so much.
cuts away the offending flesh, which, by the way, gives you another wound.
yeah, that's fine.
It's fine in that one more will kill you.
Yeah, Henry's been here before.
You get rest actions.
Yeah, here. So?
Well, I guess murder's back on the menu. I don't know.
What?
That was so weird. That was so weird.
Well, what happened?
Well, so I was in this place, and there were just crystals and people, but they weren't people. They were just, I don't know. I don't know how to describe. But anyway, I could cast a spell, and I found Orisin's murdered girlfriend.
Okay.
But she told me where he is, so he's just not here.
Where is he?
She said he was in the Moth Cities on the night side of the green. Mm-hmm.
I guess we gotta get another visa.
I guess so. But first,
The Pale is the only place you need a visa.
Okay. I wasn't sure.
Everywhere else, you do typically have to treat with the guardian of the gate to get access to a realm the first time. But the Pale is actually easier because you just go to the embassy in Saturnine and apply for a visa. Or, flirt with the ambassador.
no big deal.
That's my preferred way.
But first, I need a drink so that I don't see these screaming faces in my head anymore.
Let me trim up that flesh around your mouth first.
That would be good. It's just sort of like
I'm imagining just like one slice and it's just flapping. It kind of fills with air when you
we call this Zoidberging. Thank you very much.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Young lady, relax. I love Zoidberg. Thank you, Dan. Zoidberg is my favorite Futurama character.
Of course.
Fuck.
Yeah, so
I honestly thought Henrietta would be able to withstand that, but
she rolled low. Good stuff. Thanks, Dan.
I live to serve. But, you know, I live to serve the dark powers that utter obscene things. So.
Oh, man.
You get what you get. All right. So, Alice. How's Alice feeling these days about everyone's objectives?
So Alice has been feeling like she's okay. She's okay. I think she feels though like we could maybe take a little bit more. Like we deserve a bit more. I think she's starting to think quite a bit of ourselves. Especially with all the things that people have been getting up to. She might not quite realize how other people feel, especially with like Emma's case. She thinks it's great that, you know, criminal acts were committed. And I think Alice wants to have a chance to maybe go to like a cafe or do some kind of trip where everyone can get together and have a discussion. So she'd probably spend some time inviting people, seeing where people want to meet up, you know, send out a doodle, whatever Vizsla need to do to get everyone together.
A voodoo.
So you do it through your etheric links, but it takes like, well, not too different than real life. It takes like a week to schedule it because people submit messages and they show up at random times.
Yeah. Yeah. Where do people want to meet?
I kind of just assume that anytime we want to meet, we go to that diner.
The Breakfast Club.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think so.
And it's neutral ground too, because my knowledge of remembering being like in my early 20s is that neutral ground was very important when you were having emotional feelings about other people. Right. Sorry, Alex, if that's too real.
But you don't. You don't go to the point. That's for quick business.
Yes.
All right. So you go to the diner. So everyone shows up.
How is everyone today?
Lucky is like totally aware that this is really awkward, and he's relishing it.
Oh, I really
absolutely like
to make it just extra worse. Like Henry and Emma show up at the same time, and they don't want to sit on the same side, but don't want to sit across from each other, but still inexplicably end up sitting directly across from one another.
To her credit, at least, Emma is actually her full self as far as presentation goes. Not looking like a hobo anymore.
Henry's got maybe more dark circles than normal. She looks pretty just worn. She's probably been vomiting a lot. Monsters, not bulimia, to be clear. Monsters. To snuggle with. For comfort.
Is that one of the roles that they can have?
A level 1 creature just kind of does whatever you want it to.
That's true. You could. I mean, a guardian kind of applies.
Yeah. So she'll make cuddly bunnies and just snuggle. Snuggly vomit bunnies.
That smell really bad.
Really bad.
Yeah. They smell like blood and bile.
Yeah.
And they're constantly a little wet and squishy.
No.
But Henry loves them. That's all that matters.
It's like if you took a teddy bear and you put it in a really like algae rich pond and like scooped it through all the muck and then cuddled with it.
Mm-hmm.
Ew.
Moist.
And it smelled like blood.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the worst smell.
Henry's got a Build-A-Bear in her stomach.
Henrietta is an empathic weaver who has a builder.
Who builds a bear? Does that character sentence work for you, Alex? I'm sorry.
Sorry.
So a thought form waiter brings you over, cups, pours coffee, presents a menu, gives you the specials.
I'm gonna ask the thought form. I'm gonna say, does there seem to be any tension at this table? I'm just looking for a second opinion.
Oh my god.
Absolutely.
Should we try and address? I'm gonna look to Lucky and be like, do you think we should address this thing before we maybe chat about other stuff?
Oh no, I know all about it.
Well, yes. Well,
no, just what do you want to talk about, Alice? We're
Yeah,
here for you. We're here
Let's
for
focus
you.
on that. Emma and I are
having some relationship problems. Oh.
Yes, Alice. We are.
I was thinking. Oh yeah.
Don't bring that up again.
Okay.
For now.
I was thinking. We've all been doing these pretty incredible things lately, and I thought we should maybe take a little bit more of what we deserve. And we have dark basements. We have a few things, but I think we deserve a lot more power. And I feel like that's something we could pursue.
Alice, are you fucking kidding me?
I'm just thinking, we went to the Undersling and we saw these badges listed from 0 to however many, and do any of us even could pick one up that's more than the number 1?
Is that just about badges? You just want the number?
I actually want something. Oh, I want something more, but I feel like we all want something more.
Not honestly, with what you're thinking of, I probably don't want that. What you're talking about sounds like a fucking gang or something.
Contracts.
Gang.
We should look into getting more contracts.
I like contracts.
Dealing with I've been thinking, actually. Got a lot of time to think. And so much of our city and the surrounding area. I mean, we went to the ruined expanses and they were more than ruined. They were desecrated, filled with monsters and awful things that just want to, they just want to ruin your life. And what if we helped stop that? What if we helped rebuild what we all lost as virgins?
I was waiting for that. It was so good. Definitely worth the wait.
Henry, I don't think you can get that back. Once it's gone, it's gone.
I'm so glad I kept it together to say it.
For viewers who aren't aware, Henrietta's quirk as a Vizsla, because all Vizsla have them, is that she cannot actually say the word Vizsla. So a variety of other V beginning words with the appropriate number of syllables fill in. And we've been waiting for this to happen for a while.
It is so perfect. I couldn't stop it.
Oh my god. That was the perfect combination. Like,
I know.
that is to be applauded.
Thank you.
What we've lost as virgins.
Okay.
Well, who do you want to build this for? Like,
Well,
for everyone, because at this point, like,
I don't know. I mean,
I don't want to get into politics.
well, no, I know. It's not. It's more that I've been thinking a lot, especially about that, like that hate cis that, you courageously crawled into to save those kids, and just all the, that can't be the only one, right? And I think that we could do a lot of good, and that would help us get more powerful to do even more good, right?
Why?
Because it's a way to give back.
Give back to who? The people that have confined all the Vizsla to Fartown? Its own pocket dimension so that everybody else can stay nice and safe from the scary people with the magic powers?
Maybe we should bring those people to justice as well.
All of them, Alice. There's a lot of them.
Henry, I see where you're coming from, but we only dealt with that hate cis because Lucky had a key. That's the only reason we could deal with it. As competent as Alice thinks we are, I don't think we're ready for that quite yet.
Alice will chime in and say, Emma, I know you didn't like it, but you destroyed a very powerful being. And Henry, you have these wonderful weaving powers, and I've seen the things that you create. And Lucky, you've gone out and you've met someone. I know you've met someone, and I imagine that you've got something wonderful. I know we have capabilities to do these things, and it's just ours for the taking. That's all we have to do is take it.
What is this nebulous it? What are you suggesting we take?
All the power that we need.
To do what we want to do.
What is it that you want to do? That you need to go out and take power for it?
I don't know. Emma, what is it that you want to do by taking power? Yeah.
I just wanted to help And I know I fucked it all up.
What if you could unfuck it?
You just want to unfuck a murder.
What if you could bring back someone that was gone that you really wanted to bring back?
Would it matter? The deed is done.
Well,
Sorry, Fox.
So-
It's just killing me. I meant to mute myself, but it just came out. That's what she said. Okay.
Alice, I don't think you understand. I cannot unfuck this.
I think you
That-
can.
Really, because that soul is gone. Not even in the pail. It is gone. There's nothing
can-
left.
We can make a soul. I can make a sword. You can make a soul.
I can't make souls. I summon things that already exist. First of all. Second of all, we can make whatever we want. It's not the same person.
I think we could. I think all of us could.
Whoa. You assume that all of us want to help Emma Elizabeth, and that's where you're wrong.
I'm reasonably confident that what Alice is suggesting is literally impossible. So believe me, I'm not about to ask your help on this particular project.
I don't believe in the impossible, Emma. And I don't think you should either.
In any case, what if we were to try to attempt something that powerful? We need resources. And in order to get resources, we should do contracts. We work together as a team, and there are certainly terrifying things out there that numerous parties would like dealt with.
So what? We're just gonna become some kind of like assholes that go out and clean up the ruined expanse?
Maybe.
I'm not interested in that.
What are you interested in?
Things that won't get me killed.
You won't be killed. I can make sure of that.
Alice, if you want to acquire more power, why don't you just go to the Pale and get the Black Violet?
I think that's a good step, but I think there's a lot more steps that we could take.
What's your ultimate goal? Are you just doing this to help Emma, or is this some kind of crazy power trip?
As Corey, it is completely right that it's some crazy power trip. As Alice, Alice would say, I think there's more than just Emma who needs help. I know I need help on this.
I'll help
If-
you, but I'm not going to help anybody else. Fuck
If you'll
them.
help me, then that's good enough.
Okay. Fine. I'll do things to help you. But that's where it ends.
I really appreciate that, Lucky.
Well, you're my best friend.
You're my best friend too. I just imagine the fiery centipede is somewhere like plotting stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Camera
Our friendship
pans.
is a fiery centipede.
Camera pans to a dark cave, illuminated by the flickering light of a fiery centipede. Hands clacking together. Yes. Yes, my pretties.
As
We
our
will
friendship
kill.
grows.
We will kill them in the name of friendship.
Oh god.
Henry kind of goes, actually, you know, your friendship has made me think How many other crazy shit have makers released onto the world that need dealing with?
I think Alice will like casually like reveal the arm that she still has in her bag and be like, "We've made a few things."
Alice,
Alice, what the
I had to pull that out.
what the fuck?
Alice,
I thought it was topical.
Whose arm is that?
Don't worry about it. Just pretend you never saw it.
And it's been
Man,
transformed.
I wish I did.
Listen,
I can
I
show
don't
you.
really want to. You guys really just want to spend the rest of your lives cleaning up after everybody else's magical mistakes?
it's
Cleaning
something
up,
to do.
cleaning up the ruins of a war that we had nothing to do with.
We had nothing to do with it because we left.
That makes it not our problem.
I disagree. I'm with you, Alice.
Have you ever considered that maybe we're all corralled here in Fartown because of the war?
Yes. I have.
Sorry. Yes, I have.
I sure have.
I'm
Talk about
imagining.
it.
I'm imagining at the mention of the war, like simultaneously, a whole bunch of faces in the room, all like turn and look pointedly at you. And then there's a low, "We don't talk about the war." And then they look back. And it happened in perfect unison.
Maybe we should fucking talk about it, especially if you're all gonna be so fucking creepy.
Right. I'm not saying that it's some sort of like we're not going on a crusade. I'm just saying that like we lost a lot and maybe it's time to get some of it back.
I feel like we're talking about two different things at the same time.
Mm-hmm. We all have different goals.
Sure. But reclaiming parts of the city from hate cysts and monsters and fucking arms and bags doesn't sound a whole lot like taking power because it's ours for the taking. So I would really like to know specifically what you're suggesting, Alice. Because currently I have no goddamn idea.
I think we start with the contracts and the violin. Once we know those, I think we can expand out to maybe build a better base of operations. I think we can get contacts.
Operations.
I don't know. I imagine that there's a few things going through Lucky's mind right now.
There are so many things going through Lucky's mind right now.
Alice, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no right now. I don't.
Emma, you killed someone and you owe them. You owe them to be better.
How loudly did Alice say that? Just out of curiosity.
Pretty loud.
Didn't I fucking tell you, Emma? I told you to own it and prove it.
You didn't even let me finish. I'm not doing this grabbing power shit. All right? If you're going to do that, that's on you. Now, if you have contracts to bring to clean up the fucking ruined expanse, fine. I'm there for that. But I'm not going to do whatever this is because, quite frankly, this whole grabbing power thing sounds a bit more sinister than I'd like to participate in anymore, at least.
The Lucky whispers.
you murder one person and suddenly you're better than us?
No, I didn't say that. I said that that's not something I want to do anymore. Granted, I think Alice's plan is fucking crazy. And what she's suggesting, creating a soul and then putting it in, that's immaterial. We're not.
Why don't you
Why
let
stop?
go of that whole thing? Forget the librarian. He's dead. Okay, write that out of the picture. Now, how do you feel?
Quite frankly, sorry, I got a message. Quite frankly, even if we're acquiring more power, just do that through your goddamn orders. Do that the regular way. All right? This is base of operations and taking things because we deserve it and all of that. It's not worth it. There are legitimate means to acquire power.
So all it took was one bad breakup for you to totally change your way of thinking.
Lucky, you of all people should know that for all your bitching about being stuck in Fartown, it suits me just fucking fine.
You don't even live in Fartown.
And I'm a Vizsla. So for all your complaining about being trapped in Fartown, that sounds like a you problem.
I think you're deflecting.
Emma, what would it take from your 3 kind friends? Tell us what you want. We're here for you and we want to listen.
I think I've heard enough. Alice, we'll speak about this later. I have some business to attend to in the hollows. Henry's gonna get up and start leaving.
So, as Henrietta pushes up from her chair and goes to turn around, Henrietta smacks face first into a broad golden breastplate.
Me, Lannister.
Me?
And as you crane your head back, you see a tall, broad individual standing clad entirely in golden armor and with a perfectly smooth, featureless, mirrored, silvered face mask obscuring their face, which you all, Emma Elizabeth perhaps more than most, recognizes as the uniforms of the Pristine Guard, who normally patrol the Marquis District. This individual has a long blue cloak hanging from their shoulders, and it is pinned with the symbol of the Deathless Triumvirate on the shoulder, which is a little unusual for the normal Pristine Guard. Belted at their waist is a long, slim, bladed sword and a pistol on the other hip, and slung across their back is a long rifle. And a gauntleted hand sort of just gently rests on your shoulder and pushes you backwards a sort of half step and then the head sort of peers around you and looks at the table. And the voice sort of echoes and resonates out of the helmet. Alice. The Order of the Makers. I am Bellatrix Verona of the investigative unit of the Pristine Guard. Here by order of the Deathless Triumvirate to question you about your involvement in some recent violence and unrest in the vicinity of the Ash Gardens.
Whoops.
Corey, was that in character or?
That was Corey, not Alice.
Okay, because I could see that being an Alice reaction, so I just wanted to make sure.
Yes.
Oh no. Oh no.
Does Alice have time to cast a spell in this moment?
What would Alice like to do?
Alice would like to use her Weaving the Tail ability that I just picked up.
How long does this take?
I think it's an action.
Okay.
So it says, I change the circumstances around me so that my story goes in the direction I wish. My action and the next action of my allies within long range are enhanced by 1 die. And at the same time, 4 minor events occur that are favorable to me. So like ropes breaking or NPCs slipping. Yeah, I would like to use that because I feel like Alice is in a tight spot.
Oh yeah, we should do another soothe
Oh,
card.
yes, absolutely. Thank you for the reminder.
Holy fuck.
So we have
Remember
played.
how I was talking about disaster in our Discord? I'm really sorry about this.
So we have played The Misremembered Dream. Magic of the blue is enhanced. Magic of the red is hindered. This is of the family mysteries. Confusion or mistakes, but they don't need to be the confusion or mistakes of the person in question. People are confused about something. NPC foes around the PC are confused, or perhaps the PC loses their action in confusion. The PC makes a terrible mistake.
Oh my god.
How much do we want to lean into that? Do I see? I'd like to see like what the rest of the folks are doing at our table, like what Henry, Emma, and Lucky are doing.
So if Henry and I are sitting across from each other, I assume Henry is sitting next to Lucky. I'm getting the fuck out of the way, is what I'm doing.
Henry's just gonna sort of like wonderingly mutter to herself, like, there has to be some kind of mistake here. But she knows that's not true because the Deathless Triumphant, they don't make mistakes. Presumably.
Lucky's sweating bullets. but keeping a cool face.
So I think Alice will then like look back to the group and then like look back to this terrifying person and say, we can chat if we need to. Could you tell us a little bit more?
So are you using the Weaving the Tail yet?
Yeah, I want to use it. I don't know what, like, I think
So it'll give you +1 die to your next action after that.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna use it.
Okay, so what sort of the flavor of what you say can always change, but essentially what are you attempting to do as your next action that you're going to apply that +1 die to?
I think I want to start spinning a tale where I think Alice begins to start spinning her tale, but I kind of want to hear what the Deathless Triumvirate's going to say. Like, is this an aggressive thing? So I think maybe she would start spinning the spell, and then once she knows, like, do we be aggressive? Do we flee?
Okay.
Do we...
All right. So you're sort of preparing that spell, but you want a little bit more information before you trigger it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. So you ask them sort of what this is about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the one asking questions here, Bisley. I'm remanding you to the Marquis District to be held in question on the orders of the Deathless Triumvirate themselves, to ascertain the nature of your involvement and the guilt or not of you and any who aided you.
Well, I'd just like to first start by saying there was no one else that could have even been there if that were a thing. Secondly, I actually left a little while ago, so you missed me. And I'd like to use my conflicting tales to disappear.
Okay, so conflicting tales.
It says, recalling that sometimes there are different versions of a single tale, I vanish and reappear up to a very long distance away safely.
Okay. Yeah, so because you do it on yourself. So Alice is just like, and I already left, and Alice winks out of existence. Just vanishes.
Does this spell affect like other people's perception of Alice's?
Oh yes, because Alice, I mean, quite literally just teleported.
Yeah, but do we remember that she was there?
I think
how
so.
does okay.
Yes, yeah. You just the same as the person. This doesn't really affect anybody's perceptions of what has happened. She just spins the story about how she's not even there, and teleports. So yeah, so that costs you 4. Yeah, 4 sorcery.
Yeah.
And a very long distance. So up to about 150 meters away. So
I'm going as far as I can.
A Canadian football field and a half. Not quite an American football field and a half. I think, or wait, no, what's Canadian football fields? Are they 100 meters? No. I don't know. I forget.
I think you're asking the wrong crowd.
I'll have to look this up later. Our football fields are bigger. I know this.
Wow, weird flex, but okay.
Either way, 150 meters. So yeah, a couple 100 feet, and up to. So Alice disappears. So you going like just outside the building to like you could probably go up to like a few streets over, basically.
Yes. I am going as many streets over as I can, and then I'm just gonna start like running.
Okay. So the rest of you, the armored individual, just looks and just says, "You're all now persons of interest, and we will want to question you. Let's not make a scene."
Fine, let's go.
Oh, but Henry wants to make a scene.
Make a scene. Everyone has +1 dice on their next action. I think Alice's story. Do we have time? Would that have activated? I guess is my question.
Sure. Yeah, I'm fine. If you spend the sorcery for both of those abilities, then yeah.
Alice would have sort of spun the tale that we all got away safely and everything was fine. Nothing to worry about.
Yeah, so you have an extra dice to use on whatever action you're doing right now.
Okay.
Okay, I'd like to do something. Actually.
Yep.
Cool. I would like to use the spell Obtrusion.
Okay.
It's level 3. It's +1 die. I force a being to share my opinion. A close being to share my opinion on one topic that I choose. I must sincerely hold the belief I attempt to. Sorry, I gotta scroll over. I attempt to impart with this spell.
Okay. So, what belief are you trying to impart on this guard that you sincerely hold this belief?
That he should fuck off and leave us alone. I sincerely believe he should fuck off. So okay.
Yes.
So I have skills. I have skills in persuasion, which I feel like would apply here. Right? Do I have persuasion? Yes, I have 1 skill in persuasion, which I feel like would have. Does that work that way with the spells?
Yes, it can. All right. So, and what was the name of the spell again?
Obtrusion. It is. Yeah, it's a spell. Yeah, it's just a spell.
All right. Share your
also have a
opinion
couple
on one
aura.
topic that you choose.
Yes.
All right, stretching
you
it a
gonna-
little. It's stretching it a bit, but you have the opinion that he should fuck off and
I
leave
do
you
have the
alone.
opinion. This is an opinion I hold. It doesn't. I guess it doesn't.
Which-
mean he's gonna
which is-
agree with my opinion, but
It's true, and him sharing the opinion that he should do that doesn't necessarily mean that he will do that, right? It's like
yeah.
if you're a cop and you're real tired and your opinion is I should go home, and someone speeds by you, but you still feel compelled to deal with it.
Okay. Well, how about?
Well, I might be able. Maybe I could play off of your thing after you do it.
How about
So,
I use control mind instead?
oh, there you go. Yeah, that seems like a great idea, Lucky. Use emotional manipulation. Actually, that's exactly what Henrietta was gonna do. So
I'm just saying, I can completely control the mind of another being.
it's fine.
Yep.
We're
And they
fine.
have to do whatever I tell them to, from any distance.
Yep.
Sounds like it's probably a really bad idea, but
I mean, it's a level 8 ability, so you're doing a pretty big venture with
Ooh.
this. So you got to spend 8 sorcery.
let me see if I even have 8 sorcery. Because if I don't, then I have 12. Okay.
I was gonna say you can't actually have the ability if you don't have the sorcery to cast
Right.
it.
I have 12. I have 12 sorcery. Oh, should I do it? I don't know. That seems like a really bad idea. That seems like a
Yeah.
real quick.
No
way
shock the
to-
donkey. This is totally not ethical at all. It is not.
But it's my forte. Like
It
I
is your
don't have-
forte.
I'm all for
My
it.
forte is totally unethical.
100%.
I know
you have-
that.
it's all mind control. Excellent.
Oh my
So yeah,
God.
so it's a level 8. So spend 8 sorcery
Yeah, I'm just gonna do it.
and
Okay, so 8
and it's-
sorcery I spent.
it's +2 dice. And all right.
Okay, so what? Explain to me what I'm doing because I still don't understand how this game is played sometimes.
Okay, so you don't know what the challenge is because you don't know what this person's ability to resist stuff is.
Oh, I'm sure it's
although- Although chances are it's magic, so you probably need more than 1 success. So the venture is initially constructed